And now your man,
Donovan Sharp.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to the 522nd episode of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. It is good to have you guys in today. TSR Live is brought to you by Gorilla Mind Rush, which is the #1 supplement on the market for focus, energy, and concentration. It's like getting 750 miles out of a full tank of gas instead of the average 400. Your brain works much more efficiently. You think more clearly. Memory, everything functions. There we are. Everything functions at far higher levels when you are on Gorilla Mind Rush. They are absolutely fully stocked, which is good because they ran out of stock, which was not good. DonovanSharp.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. Again, that is DonovanSharp.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. If you want to support the show and support your dreams. So, I'm doing a special Wednesday edition call-in show because I was sent an article. Let me bring this up here. I was sent an article by a patron of mine by the name of Jerry. And the article that he sent me was from Fox News. It's entitled, Army Warns Soldiers to Be Ready for Potential Violence by Incels at Joker Screening. So I'm going to read this article quickly. It's not a very long article, but if you guys want to call in, if you want to call into the show, I would love to get your thoughts. 914-205-5356. Again, that is 914-205-5356. If you want to get in on the conversation. And as always, we are streaming live to all kinds of platforms. We're streaming. I'm streaming live to Instagram. I'm on Twitch. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. I think I'm on like 4 or 5 YouTube channels. So we're definitely multicasting. We're getting the word out to as many people as possible. And it looks like my chat has frozen up on YouTube. So I'm gonna have to bring that up a little bit later. So let me go ahead and read this particular article. And again, if you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, concerns, whatever, 914-205-5356. So it says, military commanders are warning service members about the potential for mass shootings at screenings of the upcoming film Joker, according to media reports. Now, before I get started here, and I see area code 754 on the line, and I'm pretty sure that is Jerry, the guy who sent me this particular article. So I'm going to go ahead and do a disclaimer here right in the beginning. This particular podcast is not meant to encourage, endorse, or incite violence or gun violence perpetuated against people, women, humans, whatever. I do not endorse gun violence. I'm not an advocate of gun violence. This podcast is merely discussing the consequences of these incels, because it would appear that incels and gun violence seem to go hand in hand. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. That's what we're going to talk about today. But I just want to go ahead and get that disclaimer out of the way. Make sure we keep this YouTube friendly. Anyway, the article continues. In a September 18th memo, the Army told soldiers to, quote, identify 2 escape routes and to run, hide, fight in the event of a shooting. Run if you can. The safety notice reported by Gizmodo said, if you're stuck, hide and stay quiet. If a shooter finds you, fight with whatever you can. The Army issued a memo in response to social media posts from so-called incels that were uncovered by the FBI, the website says. Incels are a part of a subculture who identify as involuntarily celibate, meaning they are unable to find romantic partners even though they desire one. Elliot Rodger, who killed 6 people near the University of California's Santa Barbara campus in 2014, identified as an incel. James Holmes, who opened fire in a crowded Aurora, Colorado movie theater during a screening of The Dark Knight in 2012, has become a hero within the incel community, the website reported. The memo said that incels, quote, idolize the Joker character, the violent clown from the Batman series, admiring his depiction as a man who must pretend to be happy but eventually fights back against bullies. Multiple calls and emails to the Army's Criminal Investigation Division were not returned. In a separate email Monday, CID officials warned of a credible intelligence from Texas law enforcement warning of, quote, disturbing and very specific chatter on the, quote, dark web, targeting an unknown movie theater. Commanders need to be aware of this threat for soldier and family safety, and to increase situational awareness should they choose to attend the release of this movie at a local theater, the memo said, according to the military news website Task and Purpose. The film stars Joaquin Phoenix. I'm almost done, guys. The film stars Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker and explores the backstory of Gotham City's most feared criminal. The film and Phoenix's performance have received critical praise as well as criticism for its depiction of violence. Phoenix recently walked out of an interview with the British newspaper The Daily Telegraph. Give me a second. The Daily Telegraph, after he was asked if the film could inspire violent. This is on Fox News. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Violent acts of violence. Jesus, depiction of violence. Anyway. It ends here. It says some family members of Aurora shooting victims have signed an open letter to Warner Brothers asking the studio to donate to gun control causes. The film won't be shown in the theater where the shooting took place. So this is a very interesting article, and it really, really got me thinking about incels, violence, etc., etc. And I think I have who I believe is the guy who submitted this particular article. Is this Jerry or is this someone else?
Yes, sir. You are correct. You're very astute of you, and thank you. What an honor. What an honor it is, a man of your caliber, to submit, to accept that and actually do a show. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I wanted to ask you, what about this article caught your eye?
Well, the fact that I did a little bit more research into this, and there's actually a huge community of these guys that, like, they'll go in these chat rooms and they'll go on these online stuff, and they won't do it for like maybe 1 or 2 hours. Like, let's say me and you, we got stuff going on. Mm-hmm. They'll go in there for like weeks at a time.
Wow.
And there's a huge community. We're looking at right now, as I speak, we're looking at over 200 million that this movie has made.
Wow.
In just in the U.S. So I mean, it's a major blockbuster. It's saying that either a lot of people can relate to this, and there's a huge incel community out there that we don't know about, which I think that's the case, or B, it's just brilliantly done. I think it's a combination of the two. I think, and you know, the thing is, they don't have an outlet. And if you actually, I don't know, have you seen the Joker yet?
I have not, and I am definitely going. Okay. I am definitely going to see it. I am here for the Joker because I've heard. Listen, I've heard it's very dark. I've heard it's very twisted, and I've heard it's very good. And so that is motivating me to want to go and see this. So absolutely, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and also it's brilliantly written, brilliantly done. Probably one of the better movies I've seen in a long time. But the fact is, I'm not going to give away anything on it. But I will say this: I mean, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference.
That's exactly right.
And then you can see from the trailers, a lot of guys can relate to the indifference of women and indifference in society in general. And that's just goes with these guys, and they kind of just go in this dark world, and they just stew about it for weeks. Now, I want to ask you this. So, and you know, I don't want to go too much into it because I know I've already read it and everything. Sure. But what do you think? Do you think maybe that if you're an incel, or you're in, you know, you weren't raised properly, where you have a really low self-esteem, and you're not willing to pay the price to go to do the red pill, you're not willing to work out. I mean, is relating to women, maybe hiring them and getting a hooker, would that kind of, the means maybe doesn't justify the ends, you know, but hey, at least you're going out and getting laid, at least you're breaking out. Maybe you might be more relatable to women if you do that. I don't know. What say you?
Okay, so let me just make sure I understand your question correctly. In area code 760, I see you in the queue. I'm going to get to you in just a second. Again, 914-205-5356 if you want to get in on the discussion. So what I think you're asking me, Jerry, is someone considered to be an incel if they go out and pay for a prostitute. Is that your question?
Yeah. Is that better? my question is that better than being an incel? In other words, not getting. I think getting personally, I think getting laid as you're getting laid. If you can't get laid on your own, at least go out and do what you got to do. Handle your business, and at least at some point at that point you'll be able to relate to women in a better way where you don't have to pay to get laid. You know what I mean? It builds confidence, that kind of thing. But I could be wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, a lot of, I mean, as you and I both know, the red pill isn't for everybody.
No, it's not.
Not everybody's willing to pay the price to better themselves because they develop habits. And habits develop your future. And people don't always develop the best habit. It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard for me living the red pill life. It's consistent work. You have to do it. So when I'm saying, what is the solution for these guys? And I was just proposing that as a possible viable solution. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, listen.
Is that, and what do you think about it?
Listen, I think it is. And we make fun of guys who, have relationships with sex dolls, people who endorse having relationships with sex dolls because of the risk involved that comes with pursuing today's women. And there are so many risks involved with women on all sides. Even if you're successful with women, you're still going to be at risk on some level at that point, right? Paternity fraud, divorce, rape. I mean, dude, she could take you to the cleaners. And a lot of women use men specifically. They go out with dates with men. They mislead men about their sexual interest in them. And the only reason why they're on that date is to get a free meal. They're looking to get fed for free. And of course, society doesn't, our culture, glorifies that. We want to throw the dine and dash guy in jail, but then we want to exalt and praise the women who are using men for free meals when there's no sexual interest being reciprocated. That being said, the answer to your question, I think, is yes. I think that if someone really is an involuntary celibate, which goes to another question, but I'm going to answer this one first. Yeah, the solution is in a state where it's legal. There are counties in Nevada where it is legal to hire a prostitute. Prostitution is the oldest profession. It's the oldest profession in the world. That's just how it is. And I remember I was talking to Rollo Tomasi about this. I think I was at the 21 convention. If I'm not mistaken, the Patriarchs edition in May when I was down in Orlando with all the guys, and he asked me that same question. He actually didn't ask me the question. He said, "Listen, how can you consider to be an incel if you can just go out and pay for sex?" And I saw somebody put in the chat. Pardon me. I saw somebody put in the chat that incels want to be loved, not random hookers. To me, that's two separate conversations. This is just about sex. This has very little to do with relationships. Incels, everybody wants relationships with a woman that he can love, he can trust, etc., etc. Incels can't get past step one. Step one for every man is sex. That's really what this is. Someone in the chat here says incels don't want escorts, they want love. We all want love. We're not talking about love here, Goman. We're talking about sex. There are a lot of men who can get sex from a lot of women, but they want relationships. And because most women aren't really worth being in relationships with, they end up just sleeping around. You cannot have a relationship with a woman if there isn't sex involved. And incels are not getting the sex. This, of course, is why we have this situation. So the short answer to your question, Jerry, is yes. Prostitution, hiring an escort, prostitute, whatever, that can make somebody a non-incel. Now, being able to go out and attract women and being able to have sex and get sex from women without having to pay them, that requires what we call game. But like you and I agreed with, and I've had several conversations with you about this, Jerry, you pay either way. Just because you're not handing cash to an escort, for sex doesn't mean that there's not some sort of exchange of resources. And this is the I don't want to call it a dichotomy. This is the trade-off with male-female relationships. This is how it works. In exchange for a woman's sexual loyalty and access to her body, we as men give her our resources, our time, our money, our attention, etc., etc. That's how this works. If a man can't be sexually attractive to women, then he can't make that trade, and that's where all the frustration is coming from. I got another caller on the line, Jerry, but I'll give you the last word.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say that something that the callers that you mentioned earlier. Well, yeah, we want real love. Everybody wants real love. But one thing that you said, and I learned by listening to you, and by, and having that, paying for investing into myself and getting the personal consult is, well, a woman never belongs to you. And it was a tough pill to swallow. And I'm like thinking, well, I want a woman to love me unconditionally. Yeah, well, it doesn't happen like that. Even you said so many times, you're like, hey, if I'm not red pill, if I start getting fat, your girl, Devin, she's going to be gone. She's going to look for the first door.
That's
and
right.
Also, a woman never belongs to you. So that's an awesome statement, and that's my last word. I appreciate that.
Jerry, listen, thank you very much for this topic. This is an excellent topic. I think we have a lot of incels in here, and this is not bash incels. I see a lot of guys defending incels. Listen, if you're an incel, call the show. I'm not trying to have an argument with you. I'm not trying to debate with you. I really want to understand what's in the mind. Maybe I'm the one that's misinformed, because as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, and if you're going to correct me, then you need to call in. I'm not going to joust with you in the chat. I want to have a real-time voice-to-voice conversation. I'll try my best to be non-adversarial, but I really want someone who is an incel, who considers themselves to be an incel, to give me a call and clue me in and educate me on what incels are really looking for. Because as far as I'm concerned, involuntary celibates, it's not about love. It is absolutely about sex. If it weren't about sex, then they wouldn't be called incels. A celibate is someone who does not have sex. Ergo, the word incel, involuntary celibate. A man, listen, if you really want a girlfriend without sex, there are plenty of girls out here that would love to be your girlfriend and not give you the sex. They'll give you all the love you want, but then not give you the sex. That's called being in the friend zone, right? So as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen anything here in the chat or anybody on the phone lines to really move me off my square. Listen, I try to be as open-minded as they come, but it's going to be tough to move me off the square. This is absolutely about sex. This isn't about love. This is about sex. There cannot be love without sex. A man can't love a woman he is not having sex with, and if you can't get sex but you want it, that is an involuntary celibate. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 760. You're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Donovan, hey, how's it going? It's Corey.
Hey, Corey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Long time.
I'm chilling, dude. Yeah. Well, I talked to you at on what's it called, MLD's webinar the other day. But,
oh yes.
I saw this article. Yeah. I saw this article, dude, and it just kind of lit a fire in my veins. I'm a former military intelligence operative.
Okay.
Did 9.5 years in the United States Marine Corps, and I've gone through all of this stuff, right? And get all the reports and all this other stuff. But at that high of a level, being military intelligence, you start to see kind of how the cards are being played. And the reason why I had to call in was mainly because, the military is filled with it's almost about 1 million people in the military. Most of the kids, in the Army.
Okay.
1 million people. They are hand in hand with the FBI and the CIA. And we get these filtered down things from the FBI and CIA all the time.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I mention this is because you're talking about this right now. It's like, why is this going on? Why is this report even a big deal? People need to understand that this is classic misinformation,
okay,
propaganda in order to start driving people in the direction of lumping them into these groups, feeling pressure and feeling bad about themselves. And it's suggestive. You hear the undertone. It's suggesting people to go and do these things. Right. So that's one thing people need to start understanding, is that the media is lumped in with, as fucking tinfoil hat as this is going to be, the media is lumped in with the CIA. If you look at Bezos, who owns the Washington Post, he's tied into the CIA. He's also on the board of directors with the Pentagon. This is all stuff that is being fabricated in order to drive people in certain directions.
Wow.
Now, to answer your question about the incel thing, and this is the argument that I present to the table, I bring to this.
Okay.
The reason why incels don't just go and get hookers is this. These guys are looking for genuine connection. Now, you got to remember, from the 1940s on up with Disney and all this stuff, we as boys have been brought up into the fairy tale world of loving idealistically, right?
Right.
For every guy out there, if you just go and you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job, you get a house, you get married, you have kids, then you have your one woman who's there for the rest of your life, who has to sit there and they have to love you.
Right.
And the other part is you're not complete until you find that soulmate, right?
Right.
You're not a complete man until you find that soulmate. And these incels, what they're doing is they're going through the world, and they're going through this fucking factory farm of school to college to work and all this stuff, and they're coming home and they're alone, and they're not getting the sex, and they're not finding this genuine connection. Because this is really what these guys are looking for, is genuine connection. It's not just the sex. They want it to be something where it's like, these women look at the guy and they are literally like enamored with them. Like, oh my goodness, like, you've done all these things. You built yourself up to be this resource provider and you're a good guy. I quote unquote love you, because I don't necessarily believe in love other than just a chemical reaction.
Right.
It's that genuine connection.
Okay.
They're not feeling it with anything they do. So even going and getting a hooker, it's like going hunting, right? I can go and I could shoot a deer in a pen,
right.
or I could go out into the wild, right? And it's that level of competence. And that's really what they're looking for too, is with men, we need to feel masterful. That's where our confidence level comes from. So if you're not confident with women, you're not feeling masterful, right, in this hunting environment, right? Your strategy that you've been using doesn't make you feel masterful, and you're not getting that genuine connection, you're just going to go full black pill. You're going to be like, fuck it, I've done everything everyone's told me to do. The world isn't fair. I'm not getting fucking laid. There's no genuine connection to anything else. Like, let's fucking rampage.
Let me ask you a question.
What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, there's certainly a lot to unpack there. Are you an incel?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, you said you were in the military. Okay. No, that's quite all right. It sounds to me like what you are saying is that incels, quote unquote, these are men who are looking for connection in order to enjoy sex. They don't want the sex without the connection. Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Genuine connection.
And area code 817 and 402. I see you guys in the queue. I'm going to get to you guys momentarily. To me, that's purple pill thinking. And bless their hearts. Bless the heart of an incel. It would be nice to have a connection with a woman that we also have sexual attraction for. But that's not how it is. And it appears to me that incels have this antiquated thinking pattern. If you require a connection, see, again, 60, 70 years ago, yes, there had to be a mental connection with a woman before you made a physical connection. That's what makes the sex better. But here's the thing. That's the difference between men and women. Men, as a man, I don't need to be emotionally connected to a woman to have great sex. I've had great sex with scores of women I could not give less of a shit about. I've had great sex with scores of women that I genuinely did not like. I like fucking her, but I didn't like being around her. And so if you're a man who says that you require a connection in order to have sex with a woman, that is female thinking. Because females are like this at first, until, of course, they get that innocence fucked out of them. So as far as I'm concerned, just based on what you're telling me, any man who says that he requires an emotional connection to have sex with a woman is a man who is a coward and not looking to pursue women on that level. You got to understand that even though it would be nice to have a connection with a woman that we are also sexually interested in, it ain't like that. It's 2019, fellas. It ain't 1919. It just doesn't work that way. Should it be this way? Fuck no. Listen, the red pill shouldn't even exist. The manosphere shouldn't even exist. I hate that I have to be an asshole to my girl every third day just to keep her in line. I hate that pursuing women requires me to be completely emotionless. But this is how it is. And you either evolve or you get left behind, ergo the term survival of the fittest. If you're not fit to pursue women, then you end up not getting women, which of course makes you an incel. So to me, requiring an emotional connection in order to pursue and have sex with women, that to me is an excuse not to go out and do the difficult thing in 2019, which is to go out and pursue women sexually. I'll give you the last word.
Sure. What I'm saying here is genuine connection, not emotional connection. You're 100% right about that emotional one. And people conflate the two 100%. Right. That does go back to that purple pill thing. I'm a fucking gorilla pimp, dude. I hook up quite a bit. The thing with me, though, is I don't go and I don't buy prostitutes because I'm a hunter.
Right.
I like going out on
There's something. Hold on. Listen. Let me cut you off. You are on to something. There is no feeling, and this I guess I can understand the incel point of view on this level, but I don't know. I might be wrong. There is no greater feeling than pursuing a woman and conquering that woman. The fact that you are encountering a woman and you don't know whether or not you are going to have sex with her, and you end up having sex with her, that is an adrenaline rush. And I agree with you. It makes absolutely it makes absolutely no sense to go out and hunt. And I got to let area code 760 go because I've got my lines are blown up. It makes no sense to go out and hunt for a deer in a pen. No. It's more of an accomplishment if you actually go out and shoot the deer in the wild. It's just much more of an accomplishment. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. I see a lot of people telling me that I'm off the mark. I'm missing the point. Give me a call and tell me why. Area code 817, you're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Don. Jonathan here. I've been watching you for a lot of years before YouTube tried to set you down. Hey, Don, I'm glad you're on top, man, and good words here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'll make it quick for you.
All right.
Not a problem, brother. So just to kind of top off your last point, pause moment right there. That sounded weird. But, hunting is great and all, but when there's no animals to hunt, hunting becomes pretty pointless.
Sure.
Obviously, the 80-20 rule is in full effect here, and men like yourself who are doing well for themselves in their mid to late 30s, early 40s will stay on top of that hunter's ladder, if you will,
sure.
While the rest of us scour for the scraps. Now, that's cool and all, but it becomes the same rule as if you're driving a Ferrari and I'm driving nothing, and I'm hungry. I'm looking inside what your car possibly has so I can get me something to eat. It's there's not enough for all men to fulfill their hunter-gatherer purpose. So you have a burning, quelching desire that's within you to go and conquer, but there is nothing to conquer at this point in your life, unless you have a Bentley, unless you have a condo, unless you have a Charger with 28s, unless you're DJ Kid and you're able to, give 600 girls HIV because you have a popping Instagram account. There is no hunting anymore. It's more of just a waiting game. Most men are tired of waiting at this point.
Right. No, I get it. So what you're telling me, and I see somebody in here, Sam Gonzalez says it's looks, money, status. So is it your assertion that if you have looks, money, and status, then you can be successful with women?
Looks, money, and status is 95% of the battle. Clout and game is 5% as well. So
okay. Well, then how do you explain men who don't have money or status and just a little bit of looks sleeping with beautiful women? Because there are dudes out here that don't have two nickels to rub together. And I'm not saying that they're getting in relationships with these women. I'm not saying that they're marrying these women, because these women certainly aren't going to marry these bum-ass dudes. But how do you explain men who don't have a lot of money still being able to sleep with beautiful women?
It goes down to what you say most of the time, the exception not making the rule. They're part of that 5% of guys who actually have verbal judo, who actually have the gift of gab. Talking is a skill, and that is something that that would have been useful back in the hunter-gatherer days.
Right.
So talking is a skill in and out of itself. But
exactly.
Aside from that,
hold on. No, listen. You're 100% right. Talking is a skill that can be learned. Okay, that's my point. Is that if somebody wants to learn the quote-unquote gift of gab, talking game, etc., they can learn that. It just appears to me that because and you said there's nothing out there, nothing left to hunt, I would actually agree with you. It's almost like we're out in the wild and we're hunting for animals that are already dead. This is the reason why animals in the wild don't like to eat animals that have been dead for a few hours, because it's not fresh. They like to go out and get that fresh deer, that fresh antelope, that fresh zebra. That being said, there isn't really that much to hunt out there, yet men are still out here hunting. And I want to ask you one last question, because I don't maybe I'm missing the mark here, but I think that there's a correlation with incels between relationships and sex. So explain to me why you feel like you have to have an emotional connection with a woman in order to pursue her, because you just said it yourself. There's not much to hunt out here. Dude, 99.9% of women are just not worth pursuing for anything outside of sex. So if you're gonna wait around for that 0.01%, I'm not a mathematician, then to me I say that that's unwise. What say you? And I'll give you the last word.
Well, thanks, Don. I appreciate you, brother. I'll make it quick again.
Absolutely, yeah.
Completely agree with you there. The problem is that for me personally, I had a relationship that was completely fulfilling. Back in my college days, I was financially supporting a woman. I had a good job at the time. Mm-hmm. I was younger. I was on my thing. I was socially the man. I was the Chad. I was the Mike from Kevin from sales and everything like that. And when I lost my job and when I lost my social status, I lost my woman as well. And I lost a piece of my heart. And ever since that day, I've been looking for that little piece of my heart, but I've come to the realization through the red pill, the programming, through, the good brothers like you, that I won't have or regain that piece of my heart back. So going forward, I don't have the ability to be that same hunter-gatherer that I was.
Okay.
It's more of a permanent mental state that that took a piece out of me. So that's the best way I can answer that for you, Don. I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the call. Listen, very well put. Very well put. I think you said 5% of men have the gift of gab. I would disagree. I think the number's a little bit higher than that. But I think his overall point was that the numbers don't add up, right? And this is the 80-20 rule. 20% of the men are sleeping with 80% of the women. So what happens to the other 80% of men? I've heard that before. Let's see. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Okay, listen closely. I've got 7 callers on the line, and I'll try to get to you guys as quickly as possible. Area code 402 is next, followed by 480-475-347, 760-443, and 702. Let's start with area code 402 first. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Donovan? This is Ishmael here, man.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Call.
Absolutely.
I have just a few questions on what do incels want. If they want sex, why don't they just hire an escort? If they want a relationship or somebody to show them some affection, why won't they just go talk to some, like a female maybe online, on Tinder? Because females love giving away, attention. They love attention. So what do they really want?
Yeah, you know what? And this this is the question.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, listen, me too. This is what I'm trying to figure out, and I need someone to explain to me why a man feels like he has to have an emotional connection to have sex with a woman. Because again, to me, that is an excuse that men who can't. Not that men who can't. To me, using that, well, I have to have an emotional connection with a woman in order to pursue her, to me, that's an excuse they use not to pursue any women. Well, there's no women worth pursuing, so I'm not going to pursue. That's how that works. I have a lot of people in the chat telling me it's not about hookers, it's about emotion. Guys, give me a call. 914-205-5356. Good call there by area code 402. What exactly do you guys want? What do incels want? Like, everybody wants women, everybody wants relationships. But again, just like I said at the top of the show, just because it's something we want doesn't mean it's something that we're going to get. And I think people need to, and listen, I agree with incels. I agree with them in this regard. It absolutely, I think a relationship is much better when you have an emotional connection. But as a man, I've had better sex with women that I do not have an emotional connection with than I've had sex with women that I have an emotional connection with. For me as a man, and I don't know, I can't really speak for everybody, but as a man, there's no emotional connection that's needed in order to have sex with a woman. This is why CEOs and powerful men have affairs on their wives, but they don't leave their wives. They like fucking the hot secretary, they like fucking the hot strippers when they're out on the road on business trips, but then they come back and they love their wives. So again, guys, you have to give me a call, 914-205-5356. Somebody says incels want to be desired by a woman, genuine desire. Well, that's up to you, incels. Listen, if you want genuine desire from a woman, then you need to generate that genuine desire. If you aren't able to, then that's your problem. That's on you. Area code 480, you're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead. Yes, area code 480, you're live.
Oh, me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's you.
Yes, I just want to bring up the fact that it's kind of like the evolutionary psychology is that we want to be successful. We want to have the drive to succeed. That's why we are very competitive and do the long hours and do all these different types of activities to succeed. We want to have that emotional connection. We want to be great. We want to be strong. We want to be powerful. We want to show that we are successful. We are succeeding. And in this climate, we want the emotional connection to show that we are the breadwinner. We are the successful male. We are completing our life duty of gaining a family and having the white picket pants.
Sure.
Because most of us are Christian. Well, not really now, but in the 50s we were Christian at one point.
Right. Yeah, you make a very good point, area code 480. Yeah, he's talking about the fact that the reason we want a connection. And I think the other caller probably nailed it a little bit better. We want the thrill of the chase is what we want. We don't just want a girl to just lie down because we pay her. No, we want to know that there is genuine desire. We want to know that she is having sex with us because she wants to, not because we paid her or because she feels like she has to. Again, if you are an incel, please call in. 914-205-5356. That's the number to call. 475-347-760, 443-310-267-313-505-818 in that order. Let's go to area code 475. You're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Hi, this is Sam Gonzalez. You referred to one of my comments.
Yes.
So, couple of things. I think what incels really want is social recognition and acceptance.
From who?
And from everybody, from around you.
Okay.
And the way the blue pill society works is, everybody, when you go to social meetings, work meetings, educational institutions, friends, everybody expects you to have a quote-unquote significant other around you. And having that gap or vacuum creates mental instability that we are seeing in incels. I think that's the crux of the problem.
Okay. Now, I saw that you said in the chat, LMS, looks, money, status. Elaborate on that for me, would you?
Yes, absolutely. So my background, I am a doctor, actually. I'm a physician. I'm an immigrant. I live in U.S. in a big city. I come from a less desirable race. Though I'm tall, I'm fit, but I don't have a good face. I'm very high earner regarding money. I don't know the definition of high earner, but I think if you earn more than $400,000 a year,
I was gonna say you're a doctor, dude. So
I
would say
I'm
that
a doctor,
qualifies.
yeah.
I'll even go as far as to say, just based on your accent, that your real name is not Sam Gonzalez. So, guys, if you're looking for Sam's name on social media,
it is not.
I think that's pretty obvious.
No, it is not. Yeah, but what I want to demonstrate here is, and I have had relationships. I'm 38. I have had about 4 or 5 girlfriends in my life of different backgrounds, etc. The most important thing that I learned is looks, money, and status. To your point, looks is the most important thing, right? And you said it, that there are a lot of men who are decently good looking who you see with girls or women all the time.
Well, let me cut you off right there. Looks, hold on real quick. Looks are important to women. I'm not going to cast any false aspersions there, but looks are they're not the most important thing to women when it comes to sexual attraction to men. Looks are the most important thing to men. Looks are important to women, but it's not the most important thing. I just wanted to go ahead and make that clear.
I don't think so. I think they are still the most important thing for women for sex, not for relationship. I think we are confusing two different things. For men, it is the same. Men are simple. For men, a hot woman is good for sex, good for marriage, good for kids, good for everything. For women, they have a dual mating strategy from an evolutionary standpoint. For them, looks are the most important thing for attraction, but she will go and fuck a Chad, for example, for fun or hook up with him any day. However, when she is looking for a relationship or getting married, she is going to look at all three: looks, money, and status, if that makes sense to you.
Looks, money, and status is not the end-all, be-all. Looks, money, and status certainly gives a man more opportunities with women, right? Like if you have looks, money, and or status, or one of the three, you certainly get more opportunities. But just because you have looks, money, and status doesn't mean that you're going to capitalize on the opportunities with women. There are guys out here who look great. They don't have any game, so they don't really get laid. They get opportunities, but they don't have game. They don't know how to handle women, so they can't get laid. We have guys with money, like yourself, who apparently is an incel, who can't get laid for whatever reason. There are men who have status
I'm not an incel by definition, because I have had girlfriends and I get sex because I can pay, for example, in Europe at least when I travel. But yeah, you are right. I think looks are still the most important. Look at Jeremy Mix, right? His example is glaring. The guy was convicted, and he women funded his release from prison.
Yep.
Now he's married to a billionaire woman, etc., etc. So looks do matter, and I think they play about 90% of the role.
Yeah, you're
in
wrong.
My honest
No,
opinion.
no. Listen, that can be your opinion, but I'm telling you, listen, you can look at me. I'm not an ugly guy, but I'm not a great looking guy. I probably fall on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd probably give myself maybe a 5.5, maybe a 6. I have fucked more women than any man that I know. Well, actually, maybe there are a couple, but I've had a lot of success with women. Okay. And the reason why I had success with women, number one, it's because I'm not ugly. But again, it's the gift of gab. It is being able to escalate sexually. It's being able to build genuine attraction. I think what a lot of guys want, Sam, is they want women to just look at them and say, I'm sexually attracted to you, so I'm going to sleep with you. It doesn't work that way. We don't get the luxury of just showing up and women wanting to have sex with us. We got to work at it. This is the cross that we as men have to bear.
This is based on this is based on 15 years of experience, and I agree with you. I have had circumstances where, if you play the game, quote unquote, in the right circumstance, in the right setting, in the right social background, you do have a chance. But I agree that you have to have that social sphere, and that's another thing that a lot of incels, I think, lack, is that they are mentally disabled in some way. They are socially disabled, where they cannot build that social, circle.
Well, listen, I wouldn't call it.
I wouldn't call it. Incels need to work
I wouldn't call it socially disabled. Yes, there are. Listen, the typical incel don't really have the social currency. They don't really have the social navigational skills that men who are good with women are concerned. That was a good call by Sam. He made a lot of good points. But it's not all about money, looks, and status. That's all. Listen, you can look around. You can see examples of men who have money. They don't have money, looks, or status, and they can still sleep with beautiful women. Let us go to area code 347. You are on live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Donovan?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Doing well. I just had a question in regards to this whole looks, money, status thing.
Sure.
Do you feel like nowadays in 2019, because of Tinder, social media, and things like that, where women have really as more options than they ever had in human history, do you feel like a lot of these incels are the guys who don't cross this looks threshold? So let's say, like for you, for example, you consider yourself to be like a 6 or 7 in the face, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't know.
Somewhere around there, like yeah. Like
right.
Me,
I'm not Chris Hemsworth or Shamar Moore, but I'm not Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, but overall, like generally speaking, you are a good-looking guy.
I'm a decent-looking guy, right?
But
of course.
But the point being is just that like game, we need game, because even though we are relatively good-looking people, we still need that extra. Okay, the game, our appearance, the gift of gab and all those other factors.
Sure.
But my question is, do you feel like there's a lot of guys on, let's say, the bottom 20% to where looks, because their looks are so bad that they can't even get to the point where they can even use game and all of those sort of red pill assets that we have to use in order to get women?
Yeah, listen,
That's my question.
No, listen, and I think that's a very good question, but the bottom 20% of men, there are a large percentage of the bottom 20% of men that could get laid. Now, there's the bottom 1% where they're just, it doesn't matter what. Listen, I've seen both men and women. Now, it's less likely to happen with women because, dudes will fuck anything, but it's much less likely to happen to women. Like, there's no such thing as a female incel, right? Like, that's just all there is to it, unless she's on My 600-Pound Life. And even then, right, we got bitches on TV that are 648 pounds. They got boyfriends. It blows me away. That's the dichotomy of the sexual marketplace. Yeah. But to answer your question, you bring up a very good question. A lot of incels have tried their hand at Tinder, online dating, and because they don't get swiped, they think that looks are the most important thing. Here's the thing, caller. Looks are the most important thing on online dating because it is all that they have access to. If you're just swiping through a bunch of pictures, you don't know anything about the guy. You have no idea what he sounds like. You have no idea what he smells like. There are, and again, if you have a deficiency in your sexual market value, we as men, we are tasked with the job of elevating the things that are under our control to elevate our sexual market value. If you were born, if you were born short,
go ahead.
If you were born short, if you're 5'6", hit the gym and make sure you're 5'6" this way and 5'6" that way. Girls like muscular men. If you think you're a shy guy, then you have to learn the gift of gab, get out there and sort of flex your social muscles. And of course, if you can always make money, you can always, start a career. We as men, there are things that are under our direct control that we can use, that we can sort of master to increase our sexual market value. But when you're on online dating, girls are just there to hook up. And if girls are just there to hook up, they're looking for the best looking guys. So when I get guys telling me, listen, it's all about looks and looks only matter. Well, yes, when it's just on a screen, absolutely. But if you walk up to a girl and you start talking to her, in the back of her mind, she might think, you know what, this guy really isn't my type. Well, wait a minute. I kind of like the way he looks at me. I like the way he's dressed, et cetera, et cetera. This is why I tell men, never, approach game, pickup game, it's risky because, hashtag me too and all this other kind of stuff. But this is why, if you're not a good looking guy, don't do online dating. Do activity game. Take up play softball. Take up a pottery class. Take up a cooking class. You can then use your other tools other than your deficient looks. So the more deficient your sexual market value is, the more you can increase your sexual market value in ways you have control over.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But I think my only rebut to that would be because, look, men, we know that we have to work. So the guys, like you said, the guys who are on the bottom 20% or whatever, those guys are going to have to delete the Tinder app and go out there and approach.
Of course.
But the only issue I have with that is that these women out here, when you go and you approach it, like Ruth said, you have the phone now. So not only do you have to deal with the obstacles of just trying to talk to a woman in general out there, but you also have to compete. Like look, whenever I get a number nowadays, I know that that's just the beginning, because now since I have her number and I'm texting her, now I have to do this invisible battle with hundreds of guys in her phone.
That's right.
It's crazy.
It is. It is. I mean, there's
no. Let's say so. So let's say a bottom 20% guy manages to somehow get this hot girl's number.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's right in line like a virtual DMV with all of these other Chads and Tyrones in there. So even though he might have been successful in the front end, on the back end he still has a strongly uphill battle. And this is why a lot of guys, I feel, in my opinion, are frustrated with the flaking, the ghosting, and all that, because they might be successful on the field, but when it gets to the text game, even if their text game is immaculate, it doesn't necessarily matter, because that guy's still 5'4", and she has a whole bunch of 6'4" Chads in the phone. So that's my closing comment.
No, listen, touche. Listen, he made a very, very, very good point. And what men have to understand, the sexual market isn't fair. It's not fair that a fat girl can get more dick than a guy who's in shape who might not look so good in the face, right? Listen, we can sit here and we can bitch and I'm not saying that that's what the last caller did, but if you really want to have sex with women, there are things that you can do to put yourself in a better position to have sex with women. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, guys. And again, correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I don't want to cast any false aspersions. And I know I'm lagging right now. It's because I'm actually doing a little bit of surfing on the internet. I want to bring up my super chats because I'm about to shout out my super chats. Things should be tightening up here. But it's not going to be easy, guys. Okay? 50, 60 years ago, it was easy to sleep with women because women were not aware of their options. I actually said this in a podcast when I was down in Florida. What happens is women have always had endless options. But thanks to the smartphone, they are now aware of those options. A woman's options can be global if she has a smartphone. If she has a smartphone and she's on a dating app, she literally has access all the time to high-value men around the world. That's what makes this difficult. But again, this is the world we live in. And no, it's not fair, and yes, it sucks. But listen, you can either actually being an incel is a choice. Being an incel, unless you're like a bottom 1%er. My Jordans just got here. Check outside the door. Hey, Dev. I think my Jordans just got here. Check outside the door to see if they put them at the door. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, let me get to the call. Oh, by the way, area code 760. I'm coming to you next. 443-310-267-313-505-626 and 510. Hold tight. I appreciate your patience. I'm going to get to all of you in a second. I want to shout out my super chatters. Big thanks to IMZ with the $2 super chat. Says Joker exposes how cruel women can be. Yeah, open those for me, would you? Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh, listen, we didn't need the movie The Joker to tell us how cruel women can be. Terrence Force Jr. with the $5 super chat says this was a great movie. This incel hysteria is out of control. The problem is that men are verbally expressing themselves and some people don't like it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, these are the Jordan Protomax 720s. I've actually ordered 3 of these, and the last 3 pairs I've gotten, the air bubble was malfunctional. So hopefully those will work. That is the Jordan Protomax 720. I now have 4 pairs of these. These are awesome. I'll be rocking those down at the 21 con. Big thanks goes out to Bobby Sourjuice. Says, I think the Joker film could lower chances of violence from incels because the film makes them feel understood. Okay. All right. Darius Thurman with the $5 super chat says, if your looks in game are tight, how often will you deal with rejection? Like if you ask 100 girls out, what is the close rate? I'm going to answer your question here, Darius, quickly. Chris Von Erich with the $20 super chat. Definitely appreciate that to help you continue to help out that bottom 1%. Keep up the good work, my friend. This is a very good question that Darius asks. And my closing percentage, if I approach, and I'll put it to you this way, I'll break it down in tens. If I were to approach 10 women, okay, I would get 7 phone numbers. Of those 7 women who gave me their phone numbers, 4 of them, I would text 10 of them. I would text 4. Let me start again. I approach 10 women. I get 7 phone numbers, okay? I text all 10 women. Of the 10 women, or of the 7 women I text, 4 of them reply. Of those 4 that reply, 2 of them will agree to a meetup. Of those 2 that agree to a meetup, at least 1 of them will flake. And the one that doesn't, I might have a 50% chance of closing. So my closing percentage is probably 5%. For every 100 women I went out on the street and asked for their phone numbers, I slept with 5 of them, right? So 1 out of 20 women that I approach, those are the women that I slept with. That is my sort of unofficial closing percentage. So that's a very, very good question. All right, let us go back to the phone lines. 914-205-5356. That's the number to call. Area code 760. You are on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan. Hey, I got a quick thing here. Well, I got like a couple things. I started off as an incel when I was younger. I was like the D&D nerd who played D&D and was like with all the nerds and shit like that. And I didn't really get good with girls until I divorced my first wife and I got out of the military, and I started working at Intel as an engineer, and I was dating like 4 or 5 girls a week. But I did notice something that, you can get better if you do the work, but I did notice something that women still always give guys who are taller more, they give them better results than guys who are shorter.
Yeah,
and
listen.
it's just the reality of things.
Yep.
It's just reality of things. And like a lot of, like you said that you think you're a 6 out of 5, and I'm thinking about like Troy Francis, like Tom Torero,
the
fucking redhead from RC. You guys are all tall and all on the over the 6, the 6 out of 10 look at least. So there is definitely some merit to that, but you definitely can improve your chances by putting the work in on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, there is no doubt. I'm 6'1", right? I'm 6'1". I'm taller than most men in the world. Yes, this gives me an advantage. Like, let's not pretend that my height doesn't give me an advantage. But there are tall guys out there who have their shoulders slumped over. There are tall guys out there who aren't in great shape. There are tall guys out there who don't really know how to talk to girls. There are tall guys out there who don't look women right in the eye. Hi, I'm Donovan, right? So again, listen, being tall has its advantages. Being a man has its advantages, but you have to capitalize on your sexual market value assets. Okay, if you have looks, money, and status, you still need game to capitalize on your sexual market value assets. And again, he makes a very good point. Yeah, taller guys do get preferential treatment. You want to know who else gets preferential treatment? Younger, hotter girls, right? Listen, fat girls complain just as much as short guys do. Well, I can get laid, but it's always the hot girls that get the boyfriends. It's always the younger girls that get the boyfriends. Listen, there are sexual market asymmetries. The sexual market value isn't fair. The sexual market, the S&P doesn't give a fuck about what's fair and what's not. Again, like I said, it is survival of the fittest. There are fat girls making the same sort of quasi-complaints that short, balding, ugly men make. That's just all there is to it. Very good call. If player X is super talented, Team Y is going to give them a longer leash in terms of releasing that player. This is just how it is. The more advantages you have on the sexual market value, the more leeway you're going to get. This is a fact. Let's go to area code 443. You're on live with Donovan, and you go ahead.
Hey, Donovan, this is Shabazz.
Hey, what's up, Shabazz? How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing? I wanted to first say, I think that article is fear-mongering.
Okay.
It's a big fear-monger tactic, because if this movie was going to inspire incels, then these romantic comedies would be inspiring people to get married, right?
Right.
And we see that going down.
Right.
K Jewelers is about to lose their business. These cop movies would inspire people to be cops, yet all we see is black people more complaining about cops instead of wanting to join the force.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this movie is inspiring incels at all. And I think that's a dangerous road that this article is taking, because it's trying to take the art out of the world.
Okay.
Like, it's a great movie. It's a great movie from an artistic perspective.
Okay. Oh, so you saw the
and
movie?
That translates. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
good.
really great from an artistic perspective, because you see in the minds of what they're like.
Excellent.
And that brings me to incels, because I think being an incel is more than sex. I think it's about them being seen as a man itself.
Okay.
Because there's incels in marriages, literally. There's literally incels in marriages, because when things go awry, they start to go crazy, right?
Yep.
Look at the DC sniper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, John Malvo. Yeah, I remember that guy. Oh, too.
Yeah, it's because his girl, it basically, he lost his girl.
Yep.
But he was still getting sex from her, but he still wasn't seen as a man because she still left him. And he went crazy. So
Excellent.
how am I to believe that incels is just about sex? It's a lot more. It's about them being seen as a man itself. Because
well, I would say this to you, caller.
Like, who don't fit.
Listen. I would say this to you, caller. And I got to let you go because I got many other phone calls. He's right. It's about being seen as a man. Well, if that's really part of what it's about for incels, if you want to be seen like a man, then you need to look and act like a man, right? You can't bitch and moan about, oh, people think I'm fat. You're fat. I want people to see me as a high value guy. Then go out and be high value. What you guys got to understand is this. Women don't have to proactively do anything to be sexually attractive to men. They really don't. All they have to do is not get fat. That's it. It doesn't matter how, dude, a woman could be a butterface. She could have an ugly face. She has a decent body. Dudes are going to fuck her. Dudes are going to smash. Men are made. Women are born. Women come out of the womb ready-made for families. It doesn't work that way with men. We as men, we have to proactively build ourselves into men. Women are already women. All they have to do is keep the car on the road and they can have any man they want. I talked about this yesterday. All a female has to do, if she can make it to 18 years old as a virgin, without tattoos, and not get fat, that's a lottery ticket. She literally has her choice of any man she wants. If a man gets to 18 and has those same stats, we still have work to do. This is the crux of the sexual marketplace. We as men, we have to work to be sexually attractive. This is how it is. If you want to be seen as a man, then you need to build yourself into a man. It's not just going to happen for you. And it's my assertion that I think a lot of incels are lazy. I think incels just want women to be sexually attracted to them just because they're men. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 310. You're on live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan. What's going on, man? I
What's up,
love
brother?
what you're doing. Love all your content.
Thank you.
It's great. I find that this is a really interesting conversation because I used to be an incel.
Okay.
I think that modern incels are sort of the opposite to like how women are total hoes these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Their heads have been filled with how to act like a man, whereas incels, their heads have been filled with how to act like a woman.
Yes.
I'm not good at talking on the phone or on radio, so I'm a little nervous, but I just want to let you know that until I had my heart ripped out in a long-term relationship, I didn't know anything about women. Like,
right.
I had a dad, like I had both of my parents, but my dad, you know, he saw me almost like a girl. Like, I wasn't into masculine hobbies and things like that when I was a kid.
Right.
So he sort of just like ignored me, you know, and then you get raised by your mom and you get raised by women, and you basically get groomed into acting like a girl, and expecting that that's how life works. Like, it's not that I didn't want to sleep with women. It's that I thought that, like, oh, well, they're going to come after me.
Right.
They're going to act like how I should be acting.
Right.
And I didn't get laid until I started seeing girls who actually acted that way. And if you know a girl who acts like, you're in trouble, because a girl who acts like that is not a girl you want in your life. So I got into all sorts of BPD relationships, narcissists, all sorts of crazy shit. I acted like a woman. I didn't have I didn't understand what masculinity was. I didn't understand the rules of the game. And I think that there is a lot to say about sort of people being lazy, but you have to look at it like a woman. Like, of course, this woman wouldn't want to improve herself. She's a woman. She doesn't have to. Well, these guys have never been told that they need to act like a man, that there are rules to the game. They have no mentors. No one has told them, like, listen, kid, this is how you get the girl.
Right.
This is how you do it. This is how you be a man. And I think a lot of these incel guys, you know, they're completely programmed by all of this blue pill shit, all of these Disney movies. They think all of this crap is from the perspective of a woman. Like, you're basically dealing with a guy who acts like a girl.
Right. Yes.
And it wasn't until I discovered the red pill in all of you guys, and you guys have saved my life. I mean,
good.
I didn't have the gun in my mouth like Rolo said many times, but I was damn close. And if it wasn't for finding the red pill after my ex-wife and I went through our nonsense, you know, God only knows where I would be.
Right. Right. No, listen. Thanks for the call.
This is
my bad. Go ahead.
You know. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
A little bit of a delay.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay. Go ahead. You got to finish your point. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I just think that we need to keep reaching out. You know, like, I know that that's what I do now. Like, I'm kind of in like a nerdy field because I was a nerd my whole life growing up, and it served me really well for my career and everything. But, you know, I see all these guys around me who still act like women, who don't get it. And I think it's on us to try to, like, put a hand out to anybody who wants to find these things and help them up and kind of show them the way whenever we can, because I know no one did that for me.
Right.
You know, and that's why I love what you guys are doing. I sat in the queue for 30 minutes just to talk to you, man. And
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
What you're doing is you're changing lives. Like, you're helping people. And we got to tell these men that they got to stop acting like women.
Listen, 100%. And caller, I'd like to actually ask you a question. There are a lot of incels, guys who would describe themselves as incels, and a huge thanks goes out to my man John Anthony with the $50 super chat. Says, biggest problem with incels is lack of masculinity. They have no mentors, no guys to teach them about women. 100%. Caller, I'd like to ask you one question here before you go here. What would you say to the incels watching? Because there are a lot of incels who are disagreeing with, well, it's not about this, it's not about that. How did you break free of the shackles of being an incel? You said you used to be an incel, you're no longer an incel. What changed for you?
The woman that I was engaged to marry tried to pull the whole polyamorous thing. She's like, I'm in love with you, but I'm falling in love with these other people.
Right.
And I was raised Catholic. You know, I was from a really traditional Catholic home. You know, my dad was super masculine, even though he wasn't really in my life. You know, and my mom was like a very logical and kind of down to earth woman, I think because my dad kept her in line.
Okay.
So I had this complete misunderstanding of how things work, because women aren't like that. Like, look at my mom. She's so put together. Like, she's so well put, women aren't crazy. And it wasn't until I truly experienced like the primal insanity of a woman who really didn't respect me and really used me that I was able to sort of see like, well, there's something wrong with what's going on. And I wasn't about to allow, like, because I wanted the same thing that my parents had. I wanted a good relationship, a strong family, a woman who loved and respected me, because I saw that growing up. And it was at that moment where I realized, like, this is not how it's supposed to be. Like, wow. I am not going to be married to a girl who wants to see other men.
Right.
I knew other nerdy dudes who had like these weird open marriages. I lived in California for 12 years. So there's like swingers and all sorts of crazy liberals out there. If that's your jam, have fun, but it was not for me. When that reality set in, I knew that it's what Rolo said, sometimes you need trauma to knock out those foundations, and it completely pulled the rug out from under me. And then I just dove into the internet. I was like, why did my girlfriend ask for an open relationship?
So the long and the short,
what is
the long and the short, the long and the short of it is that you took accountability. You knew that it wasn't the sexual marketplace that was the problem. You figured out that you were the one with the problem. And thanks for the call, area code 310. We've got a lot more callers. That was a great story. Creepy Crawlers, I guess, is an incel. He says false again. I have no idea what he's talking about. He says incels are locked out of the sexual market. That's the problem with incels, is they think they're locked out of the sexual market. No, you're not locked out of the sexual market. You're locking yourselves out of the sexual market. Again, incels are a lot like feminists in that they have this sugar-coated Disney fantasy romantic comedy idea about love and relationships, and it's not like that. Another chatter pointed out in the comments that incels are sexually picky. Well, she's not hot enough. She's not thin enough. Right? Or she's too this or she's too that. I think that's what it is. I think incels are too picky. I think they're too lazy. I think they'd rather just sit around and bitch and moan about what they can't have and what's not fair and be in my chats and tell me that I'm wrong and not call in. That's the problem with some incels. And dare I say, not all incels are created equal. But this guy, whatever his name is, Creepy Crawlers, he is the quintessential example in terms of showing us the reason why incels are incels. There's no such thing as an involuntary celibate, people. I'm here to tell you, you are a vol cell. You are voluntarily celibate. You are celibate because of your choices. You are celibate because of your mindset. Now, granted, the sexual marketplace is tough to navigate. Trust me, I've been there before. But that doesn't mean you can't still navigate it. I believe a lot of you guys are just lazy. You don't want to put in the work. You expect her to just lift up her skirt if you walk up and say hello, and it doesn't work that way. A lot of guys say, well, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Yeah, but you still want the juice. And if you want the juice, you got to squeeze that orange. You don't just hold the orange in front of you and expect the juice to fall out. You got to work for it. This is just how it goes, guys. You can say the juice isn't worth the squeeze all you want. The juice, you still want the juice. If you're not willing to work for the juice, cool. Call yourself a vol cell, but don't say that you're locked out of the sexual marketplace. Dude, there's all kinds of free information out there specifically designed to help men become more attractive to women. There are gyms. The world is our oyster, guys. There is positively zero excuse other than maybe having a mental or a physical handicap that the average man can't go out and at least have sex with a moderate number of women. Like, this is just how it is. Girls are giving away their pussies like it's Halloween candy, and you can't get a piece because you think you're locked out? That's bullshit. You need to look in the mirror, my friend. Either look in the mirror or call in. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 267, you're right around the corner from me. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, Sharp?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? So, my feelings on the thing is, I've been following this the incel thing since the Joker movie came out, and the guy, the caller before me, he hit on a lot of points that I was gonna bring up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an incel, but like I said, I've been looking up a lot of the come back to some of the videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and since the Joker movie came out, and yeah, it seems like they're just like they're looking for some type of human connection with with the opposite with females, and they just have they just OD'd on the blue pill. They just like from like you said, like from so much Disney propaganda and so much with this war on toxic masculinity and all this nonsense, all this feminist nonsense. I mean, they're just so like they're so brainwashed by so much media that we have out today that, you know what I mean, they just feel like, they feel that the way to get the girl is to be the nice guy. And that's the common thing I keep hearing about from these incels in these videos. They say, the problem with what they meet the girl, well, I met her, I was a nice guy, I was, these girls don't know what, they don't know what they want, I was a nice guy, I treated her well, and she still left off with this other guy, and she
what you're talking about. Well, hey, caller, hang on, caller. What you're talking about is the difference between the red pill and the blue pill. I want to know what your thoughts are on what you think of incels. Let me pose a question to you because I got other callers. Answer me this question: do you think that incels are just lazy and too picky, or are they really involuntary celibates? Because the more I talk about this, the more I'm starting to begin to realize that incels don't want solutions. They just want to complain. They want to complain about how they're locked out of the sexual marketplace. I think incels are lazy. I think they're entitled, and I think they don't want to put in the work. And if that's the case, that's fine. No, but at least admit that's the case. Agree or disagree?
No, I think they're just totally confused about women. I think they just don't know anything about women. I think they're just totally confused, and because the stuff from what I hear from them, they seem like they're actually going out trying to meet women, and they're actually like talking to women.
No, I think you're wrong. No, caller, no, caller's wrong. I had to cut him off because we got other callers. Incels don't go out and try to meet women. Incels are the kind of guys who approach one woman a month and then write a whole long essay about how difficult it was and about how she was a bitch, and I'm done with women. That's who incels are. That's who I believe incels are. Correct me if I'm wrong. Big thanks goes out to Bobby Sour Juice with the $5 super chat. Says, incels seem to be a male version of an overweight baconator-eating female angry that Brad Pitt won't look their way. I gotta say, I partially agree with that. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm not trying to be hard on these incels, guys, because, listen, man, as men, we have it rough. Like, there's no doubt about it. Women are as difficult to sleep with nowadays as they have ever been in human history. Let's not pretend that it's easy to go out here and sleep with females, but it takes work. And it appears to me that incels are just not interested in doing the work. That's just what it says to me. That's what it says to me. Let's continue the calls here. Area code 313, you're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan, how you doing?
Doing good, man. You?
Pretty good.
Good.
All right, so two things. One, I believe personally that incels are those guys, those weird, nerdy guys that you went to high school with who were caught up over one chick and had a crush on them.
Right.
They were super socially awkward, super weird, couldn't make friends, or they only had their certain nerdy group of friends and they were caught up on that one girl who rejected them. They were laughed at, made fun of, so they go on these social platforms and have their own community there where they're accepted online, but in reality, they can't get sex, they're not accepted, and everything like that.
Of course.
Number two, game trumps all. Even if you don't have game, you can't even get status, in my opinion.
Listen, that's a fact.
Doctor called earlier.
Dude, listen, let me cut you off. That's exactly right. The Indian doctor, the guy who called himself Sam Gonzalez or whatever the case may be, that guy said that he made over $400,000 a year. If you make $400,000 a year, and again, listen, there are some sexual market deficiencies that guy has. That's just how it is. Let's not pretend that they're not there. If you're making almost $500,000 a year and you can't use your resources to get yourself into shape, buy a fat ass wardrobe, hire Donovan Sharp as your coach who charges a shitload of money but will still help you get laid. If you don't have the the mental wherewithal to use your resources to get you what you want, then you deserve to be where you are.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I wish I had that kind of money to get your coaching. But back to that also. So game is number one, because with game, you're able to be more social and you're able to get more proof from other people, which gives you status.
That's right. That's right.
Money and all that money rarely has anything to do with it. Because you know what? The ugliest guy at my high school can still pull and bag 10 to 20 bitches that he's fucking. And he's the ugliest motherfucker.
Right.
So if you get your game right and you're a funny guy, you attract people around you, people like being around you, you know, you're going to attract women around you. So it's not that, looks is probably, that I don't want to go into numbers, but looks barely has anything to do with it at all. And if you are one of those bottom 20%, like you guys were talking about earlier, go to the gym and lift some weights.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Skills. Go, build up something. Be funny. Go learn to play guitar. Go learn how to do something that you're passionate about you can talk about and bring up other people that other people will be interested in talking about and doing with you. So the looks part has nothing to do with it. Get your game right, and that's what I'm trying to work on myself.
Excellent. Very, very good call. Area code 313. Very, very good call. Area code 505. Thank you very much for holding. You're on live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan. Winston here. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
You too.
Hey, so, like, what I want to talk about is I'm now in my early 30s. I went through phases of being an incel in my teens and 20s.
Okay.
It's not so much the case now at all. But,
he said, just to make this clear, I'm not an incel anymore, goddammit. I get pussy.
I mean, a little bit here and there, more so to my satisfactory.
Of course, I got you.
Anyway, I went through a phase, I would say in my late teens, where I feel like I was either capable of being really self-destructive to an irrevocable degree, or perhaps even harmful to others.
Okay.
And so that's what compelled me to call in to your show today.
Okay.
All right, but what's changed for me since then was getting into you, Rollo Tomasi, Stefan Molyneux, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and Rich Cooper.
Good.
All right, what you guys did was you guys broke the blue pill spell that I was under. You guys revealed truths to me that in a lot of ways I already knew, but I was guilted into ignoring.
Right.
And once that spell was broken, my mental and emotional health healed exponentially.
Good.
So I think that some of these incels just need more positive masculine influences that the mainstream media and society are depriving them of.
No, I agree. And thanks for the call at area code 505. Yeah, you have to have mentorship. And I see a comment in the chat. Peter F. says media and society creates incels. 100%. No doubt. The culture, our mothers, our fathers tell us to exhibit feminine traits, feminine qualities. Be emotional. Show your emotional side. It's okay to cry, in front of your wife or girlfriend. Girls want sensitive guys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then they turn around and say, well, we need to, stamp out bro culture, toxic masculinity. So we got all these guys out here doing what our parents and society is telling them to do, and it's not working. Like, they don't get it. Like, this is how they've been programmed. This is why the red pill was This is why the red pill is around in the first place. Area code 626. You are on live with Donovan, and you go ahead. Area code 626. You're on live.
Oh, hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Look, sir, I just wanted to call. I'm not an incel. I also don't like bashing on them because, I have not seen the Joker movie, but I do feel that bashing on this incels people, I don't also agree with them hating on women and also trying to go out there and do stuff that happens at school, the shootings and all those type of things. I think that we should be more positive and trying to help them out instead of like trying to destroy them. Because, you never know. Your son could be in that place maybe in the future. Maybe you could be in that place maybe sooner. A rich person, I don't think the wealth really matters on this place. I think it's about the way that whatever woman you think it's, the one that you feel that connection with, or that, that feeling to being with her, then you pursue her. But me personally, I I never had a problem, pursuing women. The thing that I think it's the problem here is that some guys just were traumatized through all the problems that their families, friends, losing it all, or women bashing on them so bad that they go homeless. I'm right here in California, man. Sure. I'm telling you what's happening. You see all the homeless people right here in California. What about that? What about those guys out there? Do you ever get to think and talk about that? And
no. Well, hold on. Wait.
Hold,
caller. No, I don't want to talk about homeless people in California because that's not what this show is about, number one. Number two, I'm not bashing it. Hold on. Let me finish. I'm not bashing incels. I'm holding them accountable. Okay? Again, you have to go back and watch. You have to go back and watch from the beginning. I have nothing against incels. Where I draw the line is when incels try to tell me that I'm wrong about my assertions when their actions and words are telling me all that I need to know. It appears to me that incels make up excuse after excuse to not pursue women. That's what it sounds like to me. And it just sounds like these reasons are just excuses not to go out and pursue women. So if you're giving me excuses not to go out and pursue women, then to me, that's on the incel. And personally, I don't think there's any such thing as an involuntary celibate. I think that they are voluntary celibates masquerading as involuntary celibates. I can't get laid because I can't. I want to get laid because I can't. No, you can get laid. You just don't want to put in the work. That's my assertion. I'll give you the last word to answer that question. Do you feel that incels are lazy, or do you think they have a gripe?
I just think that they don't want to pursue women, to be honest.
Okay. Well, if they don't want to pursue women, listen. If they don't, and thanks for the call, area code 626. Hey, listen. If you're the type of guy who doesn't want to pursue women, fine. Listen, Turd Flinging Monkey is the best example. Turd Flinging Monkey is in a relationship with a sex doll. Okay? Now, while that's not something I would do, I understand why he's doing it. He's doing it because it is risky. I mean, dude, there's so many risks that comes with pursuing women. I totally get it. He's made his decision. The red pill teaches you solutions to put you in the best position not to get got. Okay? There's no guarantees with red pill content. There are no guarantees. We teach you how to become good with women. We teach you how to put certain things in place to decrease the odds of you getting taken advantage of by women. That's what the red pill is. But we're not going to teach you to just roll over and play dead. And guys say all the time, well, you know what? I'm checking out of the game. I'm just not going to play the game. No, everybody plays the game, incels included. And if there is ever any guy there that's not playing the game, you're playing the game. You're just losing it the fastest. No slight on Turd Flinging Monkey, but fucking a sex doll, that's not winning, gentlemen. That's not winning. I'm sorry. Doesn't work that way. Area code 510, you've been holding for 40 minutes, man. I appreciate you holding. You're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, Donovan. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, yeah, man, I got the answer. This is why the incels are feel like they're locked out of the sexual market. It's, it goes back to traditional values. Man's traditional values is to be a protector, provider. Okay, and this is the system today, the world we're living in, still puts this on men, right? And if a man cannot fulfill this role, he's not looked as a man by society at large, or even by himself. He doesn't look at himself as a man. So I think this is the main thing that is very disheartening and disempowering. And the main thing that caused this huge percentage of men that were stripped from the protector provider role was because women were introduced into the workforce. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely a factor. Yeah.
As soon as that happened, men's wages were cut more than half. So when a woman makes the same as a man, or even more than a man, she's not going to be very sexually attractive to that man, or look at him as potentially husband material.
Okay, well, hold on. Hang on real quick. Listen, you're making very good points, and I know you held for a long time, but I really, really need you to stay on topic. Let's stay on topic as far as incels are concerned. I'm gonna put the same question to you that I put to area code 626. Do you think incels are just lazy? Do you think that they could get laid and just don't want to do the work? Or do you think there's something to the fact that a lot of them think that they're locked out of the sexual marketplace?
Well, you see, it's a complicated question. You have to interlace economic, social engineering, and human and male-female dynamic. These are all intertwined, and I'm trying to get to the answer of your question.
Okay, go ahead. I'll give you time.
Exactly
go ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the system, once they brought women into the workforce, they knew that it was going to cause this kind of incel, huge percentage of incels. They were very well aware of it,
right.
And that's why they brought them into the workforce with the cover that they were concerned with their rights, feminism, right?
Okay.
And the reason why they brought women into the workforce is because the system, the elite that run the world, don't have such a huge need for a huge population in the world anymore because technology has advanced so much.
Okay, well, okay, you're getting way off. No. Okay, caller, you got to get to the point. What does this have to do with involuntary celibates? Like everything you're telling us makes sense. Like this is TSR Live. You know, I happen to have one of the most intelligent audiences in the manosphere. We understand what you're saying and we agree with you, but I need to know what you think about incels.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're strict from the protector provider role, many of them, and this is strict meant from their confidence. You know what I'm saying? And earlier you were saying that men just want to act like women and just just present themselves at the table. It's not so. I mean, before women enter the workforce, the only thing that men need to be attracted to women is to have a good paying job.
But guess what, caller? Hold on, caller. Listen, I agree, but it's not like that anymore, my friend. Like, listen, I get it. Back in the day, it used to be great. If you had a good job, you could get a good woman. It takes a hell of a lot more than that just to get laid. And again, you have one of two choices. You can either stay in the sexual marketplace or you can check out. But don't tell me that you don't. And again, this is the problem that I have with incels. And thanks for the call, area code 510. This is the problem that I have with incels. And I talked about this maybe 15 minutes ago. There are endless resources out here dedicated to helping men become more attractive to women. It is up to you to pursue those resources. Okay? Like I saw Kevin Samuels is in the chat now. Dude, when him and I would do shows together, guys would call in, "Hey, Kevin, I'm looking for a great pair of shoes on a budget." And guess what? Kevin would tell him, "Listen, if you're looking for a great pair of shoes on a budget, needs to come out of your vocabulary. If you really want a great pair of shoes, you got to pay the great pair of shoes price, right? Like you can't get a Lamborghini for the same price as a 92 Honda Accord. You can't get a Lamborghini for free. There is a price to be paid. Incels want the Lamborghini without paying the Lamborghini price. Okay? And then they blame the price of the Lamborghini because they don't have the money for the Lamborghini. That's what this is about. If you disagree, give me a call. 914-205-5356, area code 904. You're on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
How's it going, Donovan? How you doing?
Good, doing good.
I would like to say in some parts I disagree with what you're saying.
Okay.
I think there is like a good bit of incels out there that just don't want to put in the work. You have the incels that are too far on the end of the scale, like the extremists, like Elliot Rodger, because I think that I read some posts that he actually felt that some races were inferior to him. But I'm saying that I feel like a lot of incels, they really do put in the work, because I've talked to a lot of them. Like if you go on the red pill, there's a lot of guys that said, "Hey, I felt I had to wake up from this dream I was living, like the Matrix, that they had to put in the work and get the people they wanted." The problem is, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of guys that are rich, but they still won't put in within the resources to get women. They won't try to get a better body. They won't try to get a better house.
Well, because they don't have to.
Game.
Right, because they don't have. If you're, and again, I'm not trying to hold on, caller. I'm not saying that rich guys don't want to put in the work. Yeah, listen, the more value you have in one area, the less you're motivated to increase your value in others. If you're a rich guy, if you're a rich guy and you want women, and being in good shape gets you more women, you're going to be a lot less motivated, because if women are already throwing themselves at you, then what reason do I have to work out? Like, I get that. I understand that.
And the thing I just want to say is, as a guy who had to wake up from the blue pill himself, I real deal speak with some incels, and they will tell me they put in countless amount of work, been on plenty of dates, been on plenty of times of going back and forth between boot camps or dating. The thing is, the dating game is just really, really harder now. It's just
Hey, listen. Hold on, you're right. The dating game is hard. Yes, it is. But that's the game. Listen, I'm not calling you an incel, I'm not saying that you are, but incels bitching and complaining about the dating game is really hard. Cry me a river, man. Look, I'm not denying that it is very, very difficult to get laid. I spent a ridiculous amount of time literally just trying to get pussy. I did it for 3.5 years in Las Vegas. Those are 3.5 years I'll never, ever get back. The game is hard. You have to approach, listen, in order to fuck one chick, you have to approach 20 women. And if your percentage is 5%, you're a fucking god. You are king dingling. This is how it is. Incels are complaining that the game is too hard for them. We'll get better at the game. Listen, it's not going to be easy. Anything you want, anything that's worth working for is not going to be easy. And these guys who are telling you that they're putting in the work, they're full of shit. If they really were putting in the work, that they would have some modicum of success. But I don't want to hear a guy tell me, well, I paid $4,000 for boot camp. I got a consultation with Donovan Sharp. I got a fashion consultation with Kevin Samuels. I did this. I went on dates and did that. And here's another thing. Putting in the work is not going out on dates. That's not putting in the work. You want to know what putting in the work is? Putting in the work is mastering your craft, hitting the gym, learning game, trial and error, approaching women. Not being lazy and just swiping. Oh, I got rejected by one girl. No, I don't believe for one second that these guys. Go ahead.
They do indeed do that. It's just that the process is just not linear, and that's the.
They do indeed do what?
Look,
what? Hold on, real quick. Answer my. Hold on. Answer my question. They literally do what?
They literally go out and try to master their craft, like try to get better at talking to women. But it's just.
What about? Like, okay, listen, hold on. Wait, real quick. So they try to get better at talking to women. How many of these incels do you know hit the gym? You want to know what I'm doing after the show? I'm headed to the gym. Hold on. No. Hey. No. My show. Answer my questions. How many of these incels are hitting the gym?
I was trying to answer you. I know a good bit that hit the gym.
A good bit, like. Okay, so you're telling me that they're. Hold on. Hold on. Caller, just hang on. So you're telling me that men who are trying to master their craft and talk to women, and they're hitting the gym, and they're still not having success with women. You're telling me that men who regularly consume red pill content are going out trial and error, and they're hitting the gym, and they're still failing with women. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, yes, because I know a decent amount that would be like, yeah, I get a lot more looks in public, but even when I try to go on dates, it didn't go anywhere. The girl wouldn't text me back or stuff like that. It's just like they have plateaus in their game, like, and sometimes the plateaus are longer than others, and that's why they go more into incel territory, because they're starting to really like hate the game now because they don't want to put in any more work, because the game is just getting too hard for them.
Hey, listen. Hey, check it out. Hey, whoa, check it out. Cry me a river, man. The game. Listen, check this out. You want to know what happens when I hit a plateau in the gym? When I try to pull 405 pounds, when I try to pull 4 plates, and I can't get it up and I can't lock out, I don't think, you know what? Fuck it. I'm never going to be able to deadlift 405. No. You know what I do? I deload by 20, or I deload by a percentage. I go down to 380, I perfect my technique, and then I try it again. And if I fail, I perfect my technique and I try it again. If I fail again, I try it again. That's what you do. You are a man. This is what you do. If something doesn't work, if you're failing at something, you fucking keep at it. If you give up, that's your fault. Fucking women is hard, caller. It's not supposed to be easy. Incels want it to be easy. And I think the men who are telling you that they're putting in the work are fucking liars. They're not putting in the work. If they were putting in the work, they wouldn't be fucking incels. Thanks for the call, area code 904. That dude got me hot, man. The fuck out of here with that nonsense. Don't tell me you're putting in the work and not getting results. Like what that guy just said is the equivalent of somebody saying, Donovan, I'm in the gym 6 days a week, but I can't really seem to get in the shape. You're full of shit. You're not in the gym 6 days a week. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear it. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 323. You are on Live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Donovan? Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I like your passion against the incels, because in my experience, I feel like motivation to actually go towards something isn't really that good. Like, everybody wants to be rich, but
nobody wants to put in the work.
But
right.
if you hate being poor, you're more likely to be rich. It's like, to be a champion, you can't just want to win. You have to hate losing more than you love winning.
Wow,
so
that's
where I feel
profound,
like your
man.
passion is coming from. against incels. So when I hear you, I don't totally agree with everything you say about them, but I like the passion. I'm like, that's why you're not an incel. That's why you got out of your bad habits and got in shape and stuff, because you had to really learn to hate that stuff in order to not be it. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right, man.
First of all, I just want to start by saying. Yeah, by saying that, but as far as the incels go, yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah, it can be seen as lazy or they're not putting in the work, but also, yeah, it's just against their instincts, man. Like you always say, it's not like that anymore, like the way it used to be, to where you just had to have a job and you got a woman or something like that. Yeah, but that was most of human history. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like all your instincts, like all your ancestors, none of them had to spit game at a chick. Most spitting game was like they were 14 or whatever the heck and said hi to her, and her dad liked them and low key let him marry his daughter. You know what I mean? Like throughout history, so that's not in your DNA. So I feel you. Yeah, it's not like that anymore, and you can't use that as an excuse. But certain people aren't really as adaptive as others. You know what I mean? Like it may just be like a DNA thing. Like they might just not be that.
I agree.
To new situations.
Listen, I agree, man.
So I definitely.
Listen, I agree,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think, and I don't hate incels, right? Like I don't give a damn. Like incels don't affect my life except for in the time I've been on the show. What infuriates me more than ever are excuses. I can't stand it when I'm trying to give someone solutions and they keep giving me excuses. Anyone who's followed me for any number of years knows I used to be a fucking fat ass. Go on any social media platform and look at my before and after picture. I don't get to this point right here by just giving the fuck up. I can't stand it when people just hit me with excuses. Well, it's too hard. I don't give a shit. I don't care how hard it is. If you want it bad enough, then go and fucking get it. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I understand, you know, that you're passionate about it, because that's how you got to where you are. Is you have to, like you have to hate losing more than you love winning. Everybody wants pussy, even the incels want pussy. Right. But do you hate not having pussy more than you want pussy? You know what I mean? And for them, you know what I mean. And that's what's going to make them change. And it's just their instincts, man. Like this shit is not instinctive. Like you said, you hate having to be mean to your girl every third day, or being an asshole to your girl every third day just to keep her attracted. That's Why the fuck would you treat somebody you like, badly? That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But that's part of the game.
That's part of the game. Yeah.
Your instincts. You know what I mean? And so that's where what it comes down to. It's against their instincts, and they're out here, and they're just not very adaptive. It's against their instincts. That's basically as simple as that. And yeah, you have to change. It's not like that anymore, but certain people can't adapt. And man, I love the show. Keep doing your thing. And great talking to you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, area code 323. He said something profound. You have to hate losing more than you love winning. I think that's what drives ultra successful people. And professional athletes say this all the time. Losing hurts worse than winning feels good. And I agree 100%. You have to hate to lose more than you love to win. I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's probably an adaptability thing, but to me it comes down to just laziness. That's what it comes down to. Dudes just don't want to do what's hard. It's the same thing as a woman bitching and complaining that she's still fat. Well, I go to the gym and I watch my diet, but I'm still fat. Well, you're not going to the gym enough and you're not watching your diet enough. What women give all these excuses as to why they're fat so they can go and get their tummy tucked and get the fat sucked out, right? They buy the elliptical machine. They buy the little pink 2.5 pound weights so they can tell the doctor, well, I've tried everything and nothing works. Just stick the tube and suck all the fat out. That's the easy way out. Unfortunately, there is no liposuction for women. Oh, wait a minute, there is. It's called prostitution. But even then, that's not good enough for incels. Fuck out of here. 914-205-5356. I believe I have Pine. Is this Pine or is this C in Vegas?
No, this is Pine, man.
Pine, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Yeah, okay, there we go.
Hi, brother. I'm in the gym right now.
Oh, okay,
I'm
word up.
in the gym right now. I'm hiding in a fucking corner so nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, please don't don't get caught.
Yeah, don't do the easy shit. But anyway, so on this whole incel thing, this drives me fucking nuts, dude. I was an incel for a better part of 10 fucking years. Couldn't get laid, 300-pound fat fuck. You know my story.
Absolutely. Hey, hold
I'm here
Pine.
at the gym right now.
Pine, give me 1 second. I need to make a public announcement. There are 17 callers on the line. I'm going to get to all 17 of you. You guys are going to start to hear a countdown. The lady's going to say 90 seconds, 60 seconds, 30 seconds. That doesn't mean that you're going to get cut off in that amount of time. Stay on the line because even after the time is quote-unquote up, I will still get to your phone calls. When you guys hear that there's 90 seconds, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, what that means is that you have 60 seconds to get in the queue. If you are in the queue, I will get to your call. Okay, go ahead, Pine. Go ahead.
So as I was saying, man, I used to be an incel. Bad.
Right.
300-pound fat guy, couldn't get laid for the better part of 10 years. You look at my Instagram, you see what I'm putting up there.
Oh, yeah.
I let my work speak for itself. You can pull yourself out of the hole. You can lift weights. You can learn game. You can get your ass in the gym. You can do whatever you need to do to get there.
Right.
Half the battle is not knowing what you need to do. As when I was incel, I didn't know. I didn't know what I needed to do. I just kind of went with what everyone was telling me. So a lot of it's just bad information, but also a lot of it's being raised by a single mom, having entitlement issues, believing that I should be something after watching all those Disney movies. That's the issues with a lot of these guys who can't get laid.
Right.
And I'm coaching a couple guys in my local area.
Good.
Including that, I'm in Florida now, living that good life. And you just got to fucking get off your ass and do the work. It's going to suck. You're going to get blown out bad.
Was it easy, Frank?
Dude, I was with at 21.
Was it easy?
Go ahead. Fuck no.
Of course not.
Dude,
of course
I can't
not.
know how many times I've been fucking blown out, made to look like an idiot, laughed at. It's fucking horrible.
This is how it is,
But
man. That's
I
the
hate
game.
losing.
Right.
Dude, just like I was at 21 convention. I was with you. I was with Miami J, hanging out with Goldman, hanging out with all the top level guys. I didn't get a fucking single number that whole time I was out there.
Right.
I got blown out in every single set. Did I stop going? Fuck no.
No, listen, I
put
agree.
in the fucking work. If it were easy, everybody be doing it.
No, listen, I totally agree.
90 seconds.
There's the 90 seconds. Fortunately for men, and this is where we as men, Frank, this is where we have a distinct advantage over women, is that there are things that are directly there are more things that are under our control that can increase our sexual market value than women. The only thing that women can do to increase their sexual market value is to get into better shape. Somebody just said in the chat, there's no gym for your face. No, there's not, right? But guess what? You change your physique, you change your life. And again,
60 seconds.
This is how this goes, man. Your life will change substantially in every area if you get into shape. Even if you're slightly overweight, if you get yourself into the shape that you need to be in, your life will change for the better. Women will want you. Men and women will respect you. People will ask you for gym. I mean, it's I see this all the time. You change your physique, you change your life. I would not have been, and I could have learned all the game I wanted to. If I was in Vegas at 312 pounds, then I probably would have gotten 312 blowouts. Like, that's how this goes. Frank, I'll give you the last word.
Mm-hmm. No, man. I mean, I've already said everything I need to say. So, good
Excellent,
on you, man. Keep up the good work. Fucking, if you're being an incel, stop. Get in there.
10 seconds.
Who gives a shit if you're ugly? I'm not the best looking guy out there, but I still give it everything I've got because I'm a fucking winner.
Goddamn right.
Later, man.
Pine Frank in the house, man. Good call. Good call. I actually was talking to him the other night about being on Twitch, right? I'm thinking of maybe starting like a retro gaming Twitch channel for RPGs and then maybe talk Red Pill Truth while I'm playing Final Fantasy. I don't know. It's in the works. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 702. You're on live with Donovan. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sharp.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm not Joe. So basically, callers need to, if you're in the incel life, you need to listen to your words, listen to Jordan Peterson's, Jocko Willink, get Coach Red Pill, and listen to Patrice O'Neill because everybody's saying, yeah. And basically, Patrice O'Neill started me this, like, something's off because I was with my woman. We've been dating for 5 years. We got a 3-year-old. And then all of a sudden with this polyamory stuff, and I'm like, okay, sure, let's try it out because that's the new thing. Love is love.
Right.
Okay. Then everything went to the floor. I'm like, something's off. Something's not right. And I would just tell him, like, there's something in me that's telling me this is wrong. This is off. No, don't worry. These guys actually, like, they admire you. I'm like, oh, wow. Then after a while, I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm done. And then she just moved out, completely moved out. Left me, I'm just living alone in a 2-bedroom house. And I started listening to Patrice O'Neal. I'm like, what's going on? And his perspective and Dante Nero's perspective.
Hang on one second, caller. Hang on, caller. Stay right there. So Black Pill Martyr, guys. Everybody look at Black Pill Martyr. Don't time him out. Black Pill Martyr is the reason. He is the quintessential example of a man who has given up. Okay? Every solution that is given, he has an excuse as to why it won't work. I say, change your body, change your life. He says, ugly, ripped dudes are just seen as try-hard creeps by women. Really, Black Pill Martyr? How would you know? Are you ugly and ripped? Right? Like, all of the solutions that we're giving, incels want to shoot it down. Here's the problem. You ain't tried it yet. Okay? So again, men like Black Pill Martyr, or males like Black Pill Martyr, if you're an incel because of you. You're not an incel because of the sexual marketplace. You have a self-defeatist attitude. You're making excuses every step of the way. Dude, ugly, ripped dudes are just seen as try-hard creeps by women. Are you kidding me? There are a lot of ugly, ripped dudes that get laid. Dude, they're ripped. It doesn't matter. Do not, listen, scroll up and look at this guy, Black Pill Martyr's scroll. If he has a YouTube channel, subscribe to his channel. This guy is an example of how not to think if you want to be successful with women and in life. All right, caller, go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Sharp. So basically, for the incel argument, you're still living in that blue pill life.
Yep.
Like, you're still living in the 20th century. Rules have changed. Times have changed. We're not living that you get a house and you get a girl and happy days. It's not like that. It's not going to be like that. And just focus on yourself. Focus on your health, on your career. And if you have to go monk on it, just go monk. That's fine.
That's what I tell.
Focusing on yourself.
This is what I tell people who just find the red pill. A lot of people say, Donovan, just found the red pill. I'm excited about life. What's the first thing I should do? The first thing you should do is go into monk mode. Go into 6 months of monk mode. Get off the grid. Dude, concentrate on your body. Read books. Consume red pill content for 6 solid months. Don't play video games. Don't jerk off. Work on yourself. I'll give you the last word, caller.
Work on yourself. Read the greats, Walter Rohr, read Rollo Tomasi's Rational Male, read your book too. Like, there's a lot of content now, and the good thing is that with this new internet age, this is out, because 10 years ago, it was not possible.
Right.
I was in the military, you're on a boat. We didn't have this, especially now that it's very common to have single moms as parents and your dad is nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a direction. So if you're in that incel blue pill life, you got to snap out of it, because
let me ask you one more question.
Matters.
Let me ask you one more question, and I'll give you the last word on this, because again, I haven't seen or heard anything that leads me to believe that men who are involuntary celibates are there. That are there against their will. I do not believe there is any such thing as an involuntary celibate. I think that these are men who are voluntarily celibate, and they're using the reasons not to go out and pursue women sexually or for relationships. I think incels, I think they make excuses not to pursue women. What say you?
Thank you, Mr. Sharp. So basically, if a person is still incel, they don't know what's going on. They don't have people around them that are telling them, hey, you got to stop playing video games at 28. Fine, you can still do that, but there's other things. You got to focus on your career, focus on your health, focus on go to Toastmasters, your speaking skills, go to meetups and put yourself out there and get rejected, not by women, but just like, all right, this type of behavior, people don't like it. Okay, I'm going to modify it. The last word, do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
There we go.
Go in there. Go in there, feel 240 pounds on you and feel what it is to
conflict,
to get that pressure on you and be like, all right, this is what I can do to get away from. And then you find that out and you get very confident. Like, you don't buckle under pressure anymore. And now you got like 260 guys out